Hello, sophomores. I hope your days are going well. And I know you have been breathless with anticipation about what time of the week this is. It is that time where we take a direct look at grammar. I know this is a day you look forward to all week long. So without keeping you in further suspense, let's get to it, shall we? All right, here we go. So for today, we are going to take a look at commas. Can everybody see from my share? All right. The wild and wonderful world of commas. We see them all the time. But what exactly do they do? What is their function? How do we use them? These and other intriguing questions we will try to answer today. So a comma indicates that you should take a soft pause. Let's pull back a little bit and think about end of the sentence, like periods and question marks and exclamation points. Those are a harder pause. You come to the end of a sentence, you take a few beats, you go on to the next. Commas are softer pauses. You take a shorter breath, a shorter period of time in your mind. And the commas functions are to separate ideas within a sentence, to separate clauses, and to separate words. Now I know sometimes it feels like there are literally 3,268 rules for commas, but we are going to take a look today at just a few of the most common commas. All right, one of the most common places that we see commas is at the end of an introductory phrase. So here we have an example. When the show is over, that's your introductory phrase, Richard will come home. Clutching her keys, Rachel ran out of the building. So commas separate the introduction of a sentence from the rest of a sentence. Also, if the phrase is longer than 4 words, most often there should be a comma. So let's see how this works. Before eating, the group called lunch. Without that comma, after eating, before eating, comma, it's kind of jumbled, isn't it? Before eating the group. Before eating the group called, before what? Your brain can go all kinds of different places. Before eating the group, a group of what? All right, so the comma goes after eating. Before eating, the group called lunch. Makes it clearer. Okay, let's talk about commas with subjects and verbs. You do not separate the subject with its verb by a comma. No. As I indicate, there's a few exceptions to this rule, but generally speaking, that doesn't happen. For instance, my best friend George has ginger hair. Here, George is the subject, has is the verb. There is no reason for a comma here. Let's kick it to the curb and say my best friend George has ginger hair. All right. Here we have a series, and we are using the commas correctly here. We're separating all of these subjects, this list of words with commas. But we come down to the end of that list with darkness, and here's its verb. Here's the list's verb, is and we have a comma. Nah, we're going to kick that to the curb and just keep the subjects and their verb without a comma. Intriguing stuff. I know you've had these questions all your life and you didn't even know you had them. All right, so here we go with comma splices. If you've ever wondered what a comma splice is, and why wouldn't you? It is when you have two independent clauses. What's an independent clause? An independent clause is a complete sentence. It has a subject, it has a verb, it can pay its own rent, buy its own groceries. It's independent, okay? So when you're trying to put two independent clauses together, you don't put them together with just a comma, or you've got a comma splice. How you put two independent clauses together is you can use coordinating conjunctions. The ever popular for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. And there's an acronym for that called fanboys. We're going to see a little bit later how that plays out. So subordinating conjunctions, there's although, now, that, in case, only if, by the time, and some correlative conjunctions, either or, not only, but, whether or. So I know that's a lot of womp, womp, womp. Let's see how that plays out. So here we didn't have any milk. I went to the shop. We have two independent clauses, right? There's a subject, we, and its verb didn't. Here, I went to the shop. I is the subject, went is the verb. And we've just separated them with a comma. That is a comma splice. We can correct that by using a semicolon. We can correct that by just creating two separate sentences. That's perfectly fine to do. And here is our conjunction, so. We didn't have any milk, comma, so. So if you're just really, really wanting to use a comma when you're trying to put two independent clauses together, don't forget that conjunction. Now we have this conjunction, but, and we know that we need to put a comma joining two independent clauses. And if we're choosing to use that, the word but, this is the way to do it. However, and here we come with an exception to the rule, when you're not joining two independent clauses, don't use a comma. So just because you see the word but there doesn't mean that a comma automatically goes in. For instance, the sweater is soft but strong. No, 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 no. No need to put that comma in there. The sweater is soft but strong. That'll do just fine. Okay. As we already saw in a previous sentence, we use those commas when we're writing a series of words, and a series is 3 or more. The moon, the stars, and the sun all appear in the sky. On the table, we have a comma after our prepositional phrase there at the beginning. I saw a pair of scissors, tape, a ruler, and some paper. Now here we're seeing a conjunction, and we're seeing the comma before that conjunction. All right. So now let's try a few of these. Let's try a few of these exercises together to see what we can come up with. So the directions tell us choose the option that will fix the comma error. So we already know that there is a comma error. We're going to do 3 of these. All right, so during lunch, comma, at the campus cafeteria, comma, Mildred noticed the dirty tables, comma, the overworked cashiers, comma, and the exorbitant price for a watery soda, period. All right, are we going to remove the comma after lunch? Or are we going to remove the comma after cashiers? I want you to be thinking about what we do with introductory phrases. And I want you to be thinking about how we deal with putting commas in lists. So where should we remove the comma? You are absolutely correct. You can see up here at the top, when a series of prepositional phrases introduces a main clause, use a comma at the end of the series, right? We're using that comma at the end of a series. All right, if you notice, we're using chomp chomp. We've been here many times before. Let's go on to number 2. Melissa couldn't study for her comma quiz, comma, because she was joyriding on the Enterprise with Mr. Spock, comma, whom the US Air Force chased with its fastest jets. Such a terrific sentence, right? Okay, so are we going to remove the comma after quiz? Or should we remove the comma after Mr. Spock? Okay. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Now, hear me now, believe me later. 99% of the time, you don't need a comma in front of the cause. Remember that. Remember that. Okay, and our last one. The slimy, smelly lettuce on my burrito made me ask the manager to return my 99 cents. Okay, I'm officially not hungry any longer. All right, are we going to add a comma after slimy? That means putting it in between slimy and smelly. Or should we add a comma after burrito? What kinds of words are slimy and smelly? Adjectives, yes, they're adjectives, right? And they're referring to what? The lettuce, exactly, exactly. So where do you think we need to put that comma? Absolutely. When you have 2 or more adjectives together, you put a comma between them. They're called coordinate adjectives. And you always, always use a comma between coordinating adjectives. So, my friends, that is our quick lesson on commas today. I hope you were as excited and riveted as I am to be talking about commas. All right. The video of this will be available in your files, and I will see you very soon. Take care all. Bye-bye.